I hate people who lie. I cannot stand the idea of people being so wealthy and so connected that they can ruin people's lives.
And yep, this is just the beginning. In today's video, we're watching Candace Owens drop some shocking details. Buckle up, because this story is like if Law and Order had a baby with Gossip Girl, and then Perez Hilton showed up with a glitter pen to take notes. Yeah, it's that messy. Okay, fam, are we seriously watching Hollywood rip off its own mask right now? Because between Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, the New York Times, subpoenas flying left and right, and even Perez Hilton getting dragged into court,
I got a court date.
this whole thing feels less like a lawsuit and more like the pilot episode of a Netflix thriller. Like, really? So, here's where it gets spicy. Everyone's asking, are we basically at war with the press now? And honestly, the Blake Lively lawsuit against Justin Baldoni might be the smoking gun. Why? Because Blake's circle allegedly leaned on the New York Times to help spin a story that painted Baldoni as, well, Hollywood's ultimate creep. Yikes. That's not just bad press. That's full-on career assassination vibes.
Okay, a couple goes to the New York Times amongst their powerful elite friends and says, hey, I just kind of want the publishing from this guy, Justin Baldoni. And so we're just gonna make up this narrative. And do you mind writing this article, Megan Toohey? Yeah, one of the people who launched the Me Too movement. Do you mind just writing this article? Because that works typically. If you just companies get completely sunk and they have to sell really quickly if we just kind of smear them with the idea that they're a rapist.
The Times piece didn't hold back. It basically framed Baldoni as this manipulative, toxic figure on set, with insiders calling him everything but a gentleman. Excuse me? The same guy who branded himself as the woke heartthrob is now being accused of like worst behavior ever status? Sounds like a PR nightmare wrapped in a feminist paperback.
And the New York Times said, yeah, sure, that's not a problem. And they released this article, and the only takeaway you could have as a reader was that this guy was the biggest creep ever. Justin Baldoni was the biggest creep, porn addicted, can't stop talking about sex, tried to cop a look of her boob while she was breast pumping, because like I guess that's very attractive, a machine going clank, 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 and they couldn't stop. He's just crazy. And poor Blake's, she's a survivor. And then Brian Friedman hit us with the facts, and it was one of these moments where we went, why do we listen to the mainstream press ever? These are assassins. They're journalistic assassins, okay?
And then, boom. Subpoenas everywhere. Seriously, people who had nothing to do with Baldoni suddenly found their inbox pinging with legal docs.
And she starts throwing out these subpoenas. I got a subpoena. I didn't even know Justin Baldoni's name last year. I got a subpoena. How am I a part of this untraceable campaign? And of course, immediately I did an episode. I said, I'll subpoena myself. I didn't even mention this girl, Blake Lively, in my phone 2 times over the last 5 years, okay?
Content creators, PR teams, even Perez Hilton got pulled in. Like, how did a gossip blogger suddenly end up as Exhibit A in a federal case? Oh, right. His snarky headline about Blake supposedly weaponizing the press became evidence. Perez, babe, you kinda manifested this.
By the way, shout out to Perez Hilton. I thought regarding the Brigitte Macron case that I had the absolute best headline ever written when they said Candace Owens subpoenas herself live. But I gotta say, Perez Hilton, this headline really made me chuckle. It was in Us Magazine, Us Weekly. Blake Lively slams Perez Hilton in court for calling her Ku Klux Khaleesi. Ku Klux Khaleesi. And she says that he's not a journalist. Yeah, she had to sit down and be deposed, and I don't know why, but Ku Klux Khaleesi sent me.
Now here's the part that has legal experts side-eyeing. Blake's camp didn't just want past receipts. No. They wanted communications from 2025, even though the lawsuit was filed in 2024. So basically, they're not just defending against what did happen, they're trying to prove something is happening right now. That smells less like legal defense and more like, let's rewrite the narrative in real time. Like, what are they scared of leaking?
This year, 2025, why? Why is the judge allowing them to go on this fishing expedition to pretend that anything that happened this year is relevant to the case that she filed last year? Apparently, she's trying to prove that it's still going on or something, and the judge is allowing this BS. Why would the judge allow this? This is an absolute nonsense. So we went to them and said, Candace has never been told what to publish. That was a part of their subpoena, wanting to figure out whether people were sending us talking points, whether or not people had paid us, whether or not people were encouraging, like asking us to say certain things throughout an episode. It's a nonsense. In fact, I should sue them for defamation for even suggesting that I would let somebody put words in my mouth. It's bad for my brand. You hurt me now. That feels like an untraceable campaign. Blake Lively, okay? Cut that out right now. He said, obviously it's not true. Do you even know who Candace is? Do you know that Candace went out and said, if you have any tips, send it to her line at tips@CandaceOwens.com. You know that she then began receiving tips. So what are you trying to do? What game are you trying to play? Are you trying to find a communication and then try to trot it out as PR proof? Like, oh yeah, no, Candace, see, they were all involved and colluding in February of 2025 after we filed our lawsuit? That's a nonsense.
This is where people are nervous. Were journalists being paid off or spoon-fed talking points straight from A-list PR teams? Or is this all just legal overreach that could end up crushing free press freedoms? Because if billionaires can just subpoena your DMs whenever they feel shady, that's not Hollywood drama, that's press freedom whispering, "Tell my story" from the morgue. Yikes. And, of course, the billion-dollar question. Do wealthy elites and press powerhouses team up to destroy reputations when it suits them? Let's be real, fam. This case suggests the answer might be a solid yes.
Right? You're trying to ruin people's lives for telling the truth. It's happening across the board. You guys are colluding with the press. The press is supposed to protect the little guy, okay?
And when ordinary people push back, elites laugh until the tables turn. That's when suddenly it's call the lawyers. Classic.
Everyone's stop being a big baby. You were so happy to play the game and smearing Justin Baldoni. Now, oh my gosh, you're so fragile. I can't deal with it. This is how they are, right? When they have full power, it's ha ha ha. And then suddenly when the tables turn and people wake up to the truth, then it's running. Where's my lawyer? File a lawsuit.
What do you think, fam? Is this real drama, PR stunts with sprinkles, or a giant distraction hiding something darker? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this tea is too hot to sip alone. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into Hollywood chaos.